Hi everybody, here I am again, and now I'm gonna talk about tables. So let me share my screen here with you and just showing to you here an HTML page, okay, that I created, and I left a space here, okay. I created the header tag with a heading one, okay, and I left here, instead of creating a section or an article, I created the main tag, okay. So the main tag does not require a heading 2 or heading 3 or any type of heading. So now I'm going to create a table. First, before I start creating a table, let's be clear with one thing. A long time ago, some people were using tables to lay out the whole entire web page. This is never advisable to use. First, because of performance, and second, because tables are not search engine friendly. So tables should be used when you are going to present tabular data. For example, you're going to present a list of products you have and the price of those products. That's a perfect content for table. Okay, so let's start building a table here. The first tag you need is, of course, the table tag. And then I have the closing table tag. Now, a table is composed by lines, what we call rows, and columns, which you're going to call cells. So the row of a table is the TR, okay? So that's the row, that's what makes a row. Now, inside the TR, I can have the table cells, which will be the number of columns that I have. So if I have 3 columns, I should have 3 cells defined. We can define a cell, for example, in the top of the table or at the bottom of the table or the first column of the table. We can define cells using the TH tag, which would mean table heading, okay? So here, for example, I will put name, and then I will define another TH that I will put position. So here I'm going to define a table to present my employees, suppose, okay? Now, that's the first row of my table. By looking at that first row of my table, you can see that I have the TH with name, TH with position. So I have 2 cells, which means 2 columns. So right now I have only 1 row and 2 columns. Now, let's define then another row for the table. And then here, instead of a TH, I will define a TD. TD is table data. So in that case, it's not going to be a table heading. We are going to see how the browser works with this. Okay, now the TD here, I'm going to put my name. And then on the other TD, I'm going to put my job, which is instructor. Now, let me define a third row, the third TR. And here again, a TD, which I will define the name of Joan, and another TD, another cell of the table that I will define as Dean. So he's the dean. John is the dean. Claudia is the instructor. John is the dean. I'm going to define just those so you can see this presented in the browser. Right here, I'm using VS Code, and you can see that here it presents this little dot, which means that my file is not saved yet. So I'm going to save this, okay? Now I'm going to present this. I'm going to find where this is, and I'm going to present this my first in the browser. So let's go here, Chrome, and here we have, okay? So we have the heading 1, okay? So let me bring back my code here so you can see side by side. So I have the heading 1 being presented here, tables. Then I have the table. Notes that my table is being presented here. What the last sentence is just the footer of the copyright, is that part here that you see down below. Now, the table that I'm presenting here, let me mark the table. And then now let's see here. The table that I'm presenting has 1, 2, 3 rows and 1, 2 columns, okay? So that's why for each row, you have 2 of TH or TD, okay? Now, note the difference that the browser makes when you present a TH. A TH is presented centralized and bold, okay? Now the TD is presented with the default letter. Now, you might say, but that table looks horrible because it doesn't have the borders, it doesn't have any type of background color. How can I do that? Well, it's gonna come when you learn how to work with CSS. But the basic of table is this. You have the table tag, you start with the table tag, you end with the table tag, and inside that table tag, you are going to have a collection of table rows, TR. And then inside each row, you're going to have 1, 2, 3, how many columns you want in your table, okay? So that's how you create the table. Okay, so now I will finish sharing this. Okay, I'll stop sharing, and that's it. That's it for tables.